And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, March 2nd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It is a Tuesday morning and time for us to be with you for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We've got Tracy Pope here this morning. Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you. Tracy is Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and we have a guest that you have brought today, and I believe this is his first time. He must be new, and you can introduce him if you'd like.
Yeah, so he's been in the area just a little over a year maybe. So he has a partner that has joined us before, but we have Dr. Eric Sturos with physical medicine and rehabilitation and interventional spine medicine. He's with Vanderbilt University Medical Center and then also here in Wilson County at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
All right, Dr. Eric Sturos, we welcome you to our program. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you, and good morning.
Especially when we probably ask this when you come next time when you come back, but for sure we want to ask today. Tell us all about where you've been, how you got here, where you grew up, anything like that. We want to know.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Michigan. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's a really small area, but came down through Michigan State University for my medical school, and through residency we have this match process, and I ended up here, and I was fortunate to match at Vanderbilt and was pretty excited to come down this way, and I've been here ever since. So I did my residency here, did an interventional spine fellowship, and then got hired on, transitioned pretty nicely, and I'm still here while we're expanding out to Lebanon now. So it's pretty exciting times.
It's a little warmer here than it is in Michigan, isn't it?
It definitely is.
You were here 2 weeks ago, though.
Yeah.
Did that remind you of Michigan?
It did, and it was, there was, what do we have, 6 inches maybe?
On top of
five
ice.
inches of snow and a couple inches of ice.
Yeah. And it was a real winter for a few days there. Yeah. But that's what I usually say. Yeah, we have a few days or a week of winter down here to family back home.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when did you decide the medical profession was for you?
So as an undergrad, I did mechanical engineering. So I was pretty set on that. One of my older brothers did mechanical engineering, and I also had an interest, it wasn't anything that I was serious about until later on in my undergrad. And I decided to give it a try and use engineering as a backup plan, and ended up loving it and got lucky, got into medical school. And so it wasn't really... A lot of people say I started out when I was a kid with a stethoscope, and but no, it was a little late.
Well, now engineering is you have to be pretty good to make it in engineering, especially some of the tougher schools. But to be a doctor, I mean, there's an awful lot to that. Compare the two a little bit for us, if you will. Did you find is one harder to learn than the other necessarily?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've thought about that a lot, but they're both challenging in their own way. Just anybody that goes through engineering, you have right or wrong answers in a lot of ways. In medicine, it's a lot more challenging to come up with a definitive answer using probabilities and differential diagnoses and things that make more or less sense. In engineering, this is a number that we got to get to, or this is, so that was a challenging transition because some of that math and science was a little easier.
A little more math in engineering, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there is a lot in medicine too, and especially in some of the different specialties, you can start getting down a lot of number routes as well.
Well, when you decide to change over to the medicine route and to be a doctor, did you know pretty much which path you were going to take there? Or when did that come along that you decided to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, maybe I'm somebody who doesn't make a lot of quick decisions, but this is something that was a slow process through that. And during my medical school, I loved everything. I loved every specialty and could see myself doing pretty much any residency. Again, when I had to make a decision, I made the best decision that I could at that time based on probably in part my training in engineering to come up with physical medicine and rehab is the specialty that I chose.
Well, I take it you haven't regretted it.
Yeah, no, it's been a great ride.
Well, and again, how did you come to Tennessee? Was Vanderbilt part of that?
Yep. So in our last year of medical school, we come up with a list of residency programs that we interviewed at, and we ranked them. And Vanderbilt was the one that I was most impressed by, and we ended up matching here in that match process, and started out as one of the first class of residents to go through Vanderbilt's physical medicine and rehab residency. And that kind of is what essentially brought me down this way.
Okay. Well, what is physical medicine and rehabilitation?
It's a I give a different answer every time somebody asks me this because it is kind of a broad specialty. So physical medicine and rehab is a specialty that focuses primarily very broad in the way that we help people with disability in a sense and try to find ways to become more functional. So it's the reason it's so broad. There's inpatient and there's outpatient. Inpatient, there's a lot of inpatient rehab hospitals are run by physicians who are specialists in physical medicine and rehab, and they take care of people with strokes, people with spinal cord injury, just any major life event that has left them less than their functional capacity, and we work to help bring them back from more of a functional standpoint as compared to focusing on one organ system like cardiology or pulmonology. Mm-hmm. We're focusing on maximizing patients' function in whatever way we define that.
Well, as an interventional spine doctor, what types of patients and pain do you treat?
So anybody with essentially neck or back pain or axial pain, I did a fellowship to help learn some of these interventions to help people who have debilitating neck or back pain. So at the same point as general physiatrist, that's what a physician in physical medicine and rehab is called, we focus on function and try to find ways to improve people's pain to get them more functional. So we'll do a lot of different, injections and different things.
You fairly successful in at least accomplishing part of your mission, getting them at least some better?
I would say certainly, but it takes a very well-rounded approach, and there's a lot of people involved in the sense, starting with a patient, and we use a lot of physical therapy. There's a lot of different things that go into that everybody has tried for back pain, even massage, chiropractic care. There's so many things that people do, and it's a very well-rounded, holistic approach. And the physician is part of that continuum. But yeah, we tend to see people get better, especially acute pain.
Is there a specific area of the body that you specialize in?
I would say at this point, it's pretty much the spine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, we mentioned interventional spine kind of with your title here, and I suspected as much. That's the spine's a very important part of the body, right?
Yeah, it holds up our head above our body, and it houses some pretty important structures like our spinal cord and nerves that come down.
Well, what little I've read about it, maybe studied in health in elementary school, it's a complex. You're in the middle of your back there, and there's so much there that I guess there is to know about it, and really there's a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's something that you don't really think about until something does go wrong, and it's a very complex structure that our spine team at Vanderbilt really does a good job of trying to think about it from a very wide continuum from non-operative to surgical care.
Yeah. Well, you learn an enormous amount, everything just about I guess there is to know about anatomy whenever you decide to be a doctor? I mean, you have to know a little bit about the whole body, but then the areas that you specialize in, you've got to know just about everything, don't you?
Yeah, it's funny how the way that works here, especially in America, where we get more and more subspecialized in some of the ways that we think. But yeah, starting out, you start very broadly, and that gets narrowed down the longer you get through training. And yeah, I ended up somehow in the spine, which is kind of fun.
All right. We're about ready to go to a break. Anything you need to say at this point, Tracy, or are we good here?
I think you're doing a great job, Coleman.
We'll take a break right here, and I'll introduce my guests when we come back. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, and they've got the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. It's $49.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation and safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic volume has increased quite a bit now, coming down past the airport here on I-40 at Donaldson Pike. It's just busy now on 109. All the traffic coming down out of Gallatin through Wilson County down to I-40. Finishing up the paperwork on that knot injury right there at 1st and Hill Street. It's also building now I-40 out of Dixon County up past 840. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich, now available at Prince's Hot Chicken. They're online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Hi, everybody. It's springtime football with Cumberland University. I'm Tommy Bryan, and along with Bob Lee, we'll be bringing you all the exciting play-by-play action of Cumberland Phoenix football. The home games will be on the radio. All the exciting action of Cumberland University football on WANT and WCOR, Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, our program here on a Tuesday, presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here, Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and twice a month she comes and brings us a guest, usually one of the doctors, occasionally somebody else, but we've had a lot of doctors lately. And
We have, yes. So our hospital became part of the Vanderbilt health system just about 18 months ago, and we've added so many new service lines just in the first 18 months. We're excited to see what our future holds, but Dr. Eric Sturrows is part of that addition that we've had to Wilson County, and that's what's so exciting is that Vanderbilt has all sorts of specialties to offer that they are extending to Wilson County and Wilson County residents, so we're just very fortunate.
Right, and I think this has been such a step forward because we really, if you're a patient here, you have access to the services that are offered through Vanderbilt at Nashville. I mean, it's just like you can go here and you have the same treatment. I guess it's about the same that you'd have if you were actually there in Nashville at the Vanderbilt
Absolutely,
Hospital.
and sometimes even better. I know we've had our radiation oncologist here before, and with our Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, we have the 4th Ethos linear accelerator installed in the nation, and they don't even have that downtown yet. I know there are plans to get that, but they put that here in Wilson County first, so it's just very exciting time.
Well, Dr. Eric Sturrows, we thank you again for being with us. Physical medicine, rehabilitation, interventional spine, and let's talk about your location.
Yeah, so we are located 3 days a week at the 1616 West Main location, the big blue building over on the west side, over on the west side of town. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot going on down there, and I guess you're staying pretty busy.
Yeah, we're always wanting to, or am available, and trying to fill up our clinic there in any ways that we can.
Does somebody need to make an appointment, have a referral to get an appointment with you?
Sometimes that's the easiest way is through a primary care provider is to get a referral, but we do actually have online scheduling through our Vanderbilt Spine Center, and you can search and go by location as well, and that's something that we see quite frequently are people that are self-scheduling.
You take walk-in patients?
Tend to not take walk-in. A lot of times when we're seeing patients in the spine center, it's helpful to have information, whether it's MRIs or different things available to make that worth the patient's while when they're in the
And we
clinic.
have heard sometimes too, depends on the insurance that a person has. Insurance can dictate that
Sure.
as well. Well, the treatment options that you utilize in your clinical practice.
Very broad range. It starts with, I guess, a mentality is trying to find ways to see what people have done or not done. And there's really, I guess, four main treatment options, I guess, for back pain in general. One is medications or short-term medications to help people when they're in a lot of pain to help maintain their function. Another is physical therapy or any sort of therapeutic exercise, I should say, or manipulation massage. Another is interventions or injections, something that I may do a little bit more of. And surgery is kind of the final option that is available for patients.
Do you do surgery yourself?
I do not. So our spine center does, but I personally don't do the surgeries.
So you would mainly deal with the other three than yourself.
Yeah, so I'll refer a lot to physical therapists, come up with a tailored exercise plan for somebody's specific diagnosis. And some of these interventions that we do are, essentially getting a needle down to a spot that's really painful to help either diagnose or treat it. We can do epidural steroid injections if people have like acute disc herniations and severe pain shooting down their leg. Or people who have arthritis and long-standing low back pain, we can do other types of procedures to help that as well.
Yeah, but you do deal with injuries and with just pain caused by whatever arthritis, getting older, or there's what percentage maybe you treat. I would think you don't treat more injuries, but you might. I don't know. How does it go between maybe injuries and other pain situations?
So when you're saying injuries, like maybe major trauma or different things, those tend
people are in automobile accidents. They have spinal injuries or sports injuries where you might have back problems as a result, as opposed to somebody just coming in. They haven't done any of that, but they got back pain. I just wondered which you deal with the most.
Yeah, I'd say, it just comes down to what's more common, and it is the latter, where people are, I tweaked something when I was getting up from my couch, for instance, no major trauma, but an injury, and all in the same, but anywhere on that spectrum, and it's hard for me to quantify percentages based on that, but most things being common.
Would you say you usually start out with some sort of medication as a treatment?
Maybe, yeah. So I tend to, a lot of times patients, when they're in my clinic, that's something that we have available. And I tend to use medications if people are in severe pain and unable to do what they need to do on a day-to-day basis. So getting them some help to help them maintain function. I don't use it as like a treatment option. Our bodies are pretty amazing and they heal with time. But saying medications here for a short time while your body is healing is kind of what I would do.
You're saying that pain medication it mainly is just to relieve the pain, not a treatment for what's wrong with them.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, people, when it's acute pain or pain that comes on suddenly, most of the time that gets better, regardless of what we do. So if somebody shows up in my clinic talking through the natural history of their specific type of pain and doing the things that we can to help them maintain that function that they previously took for granted, for instance, after like a disc or something like that.
Is there some education maybe that goes along with your your treatment? Maybe some things people need to know that they can do to avoid having especially back pain, spinal problems.
Yeah, there's a lot of, when we think of spine problems, especially structural spine problems, we think about different positions that aggravate or alleviate their pain, and we can find ways to develop exercise plans based on different positions. But yeah, there's a lot of, I like to bring up graphs on my computer and kind of show them different positions that put more forces through their discs. That's maybe the engineering that's coming out when I'm having some of these discussions, but yeah.
What part does exercise play? And I might be thinking maybe of older people, but sometimes if we just sit on the couch all day and we maybe get a little bit overweight and then we begin to have pains and so on, could a regimen of exercise help people?
I think in general, exercise is beneficial for so many things in medicine, and one of the things that we tend to neglect, but certainly just general cardiovascular exercise is helpful. When it comes specifically to the spine, I like to think more of strengthening, doing some supportive strengthening exercises for the spine. So that's what we would say, like core strengthening, so building up your back muscles, your side muscles, and your stomach muscles to help support that painful spine.
So you do recommend certain exercises from time to time?
Certainly, and almost, yeah. I can't find too many patients that, myself included, that wouldn't benefit from some additional core strengthening in our culture.
Well, as you maybe we look to the future, we've probably made a lot of progress in treating problems with the spine and this sort of thing. I think we have a lot more knowledge and information, and over the years, the experience that has been gathered. As we look to the future, we're going to be better because of that, or do you expect to be treating the same thing and the same problems 5 or 10 years from now that you are today?
Yeah, I certainly think that our knowledge when it comes to the spine is continuing to grow. And in our department at Vanderbilt, we have some pretty amazing researchers that are looking at a lot of these clinical issues. And I think the more that we know, the more that we can tailor and get specific on our treatments for back pain. The general misnomer is non-specific low back pain, and there's a lot of really tailored specific treatments for specific back pain. So finding what types of treatments are beneficial for people with specific back pain is kind of something that I see that may be a little bit different as time goes forward.
Would you say that if somebody is experiencing this, I think if you get to hurting bad enough, most of the time we're going to do something about it. Nobody likes to be in constant pain, and the worse that is, the more likely you are to seek someone like you for help, I guess. But we've come a long way. Would you say that if somebody is uncomfortable most of the time, you can usually do something about that to help them?
I think so, yeah. And even having a conversation as to, hey, this isn't dangerous pain. Let's use some medications to help you do physical therapy to become like more functional in a way. Like, yeah, there's certainly ways to address any spectrum of back pain. But yeah, if somebody shows up in my office, they're there for a reason. And we try to figure out what that is and try to maximize their...
Right. Okay, well, you're located at 1616 West Main in the Blue Building, and it's better to make an appointment, and maybe if you have a primary care physician, a lot of times they're going to refer to you, I'm sure. And you're available here about, did you say 3 times a week you're in Lebanon?
So our department is here. I'm here personally 2 days a week. So I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays. And my partner out this way is Dr. William, and he's here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay. All right. So between the two of you, you're here 3 days a week. And so we appreciate you being out here. And of course, you've said you've been around about a year, but the COVID thing started about this time last year, right after the tornado. I think a lot of us have been glad to see 2020 in the rearview mirror. So you are looking for more in 21, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of growth coming out of this time for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us today, Dr.
Thank
Eric
you.
Sturris, Physical Medicine, Rehabilitation, Interventional Spine, and again located at 1616 West Main in the Blue Building. Tracy, we always let you have the last word. We got
Yes,
a minute.
a wonderful program today, but I didn't want to leave without mentioning Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital is acting as an extension of the Wilson County Health Department, and we are giving eligible individuals COVID vaccines Monday through Friday. We're open 8 to noon, and then we break and start back from 1 to 5. And that is at the hospital. We have supply. So over the past several days, we have plenty of vaccine. You never can tell. We can only give vaccine on a first come, first served basis. So if someone does want an appointment, they're still able to go through the health department to make that appointment and schedule. But at the hospital, we are doing a first come, first served basis. And that is through the main entrance of the hospital. So our current phase that Wilson County is in is phase 1A1, 1A2, and 1B. And that does include eligible individuals 65 years of age and older. So yeah, we're excited to give back to our community and help in any way we can.
All right. Well, we thank you both for being with us today. And that is part one of Coleman and Company presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. But stay with us for more. You're on FM 98.9.
And just now 7:31, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota, Land Pride, quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well-built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase now down Ellington Parkway. Here they come, I-40, passing 840. All that traffic through Kingston Springs right now, coming in from Dixon County. We've been in pretty decent shape in the last hour as far as really bad wrecks. We're checking one right now on 40 westbound near Fessler's, where they usually move that one over to the side pretty quickly. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich, now available at Prince's Hot Chicken. You can order online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck when you're on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
Scattered showers are in the forecast today, especially by this afternoon. Temperatures today will reach the mid-50s. For Wednesday, skies will be a mix of sunny clouds with highs in the low 60s. On Thursday, skies will be mostly sunny with highs in the low 60s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two. Here on a Tuesday morning, Sean Dozier joins us to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. It's always great to be here on Tuesdays.
It is always great to see you, and I hope things are going well.
Things are going well. We got through the week, with the snow and ice, and had a better week last week, and I think this week's going to be even better, and I think next week's going to be even better. So I think things are picking up.
Spring's just around the
That's
corner.
right.
Well, Sean is the Executive Director of Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Avenue North, and he comes here each Tuesday, has 5 or 6 minutes to tell us what's going on there, and it's always good to see you. What is going on?
Well, I never just talk a few minutes about what we offer, our services. When you go to assisted living, you pay a price and you expect certain services. And I just wanted to sort of go down the list of what you get when you, actually come to Hearthside Senior Living, the assisted living. You get 3 meals a day, of course, good, nutritious meals from our 3 great cooks. We have a snack cart that's available 24/7. Our nurses are available 24/7 to make sure you get your medication on time. Housekeeping is included in our price. Personal laundry and linen services, that's all included, all encompassed in that one price. Our towels are included, so you don't have to bring you don't even have to bring your own towels or toilet paper. We have all that there for you. We have a social activities, free cable, free Wi-Fi, so that's all included in one price. And I just want to make sure everybody understands that we do have a few rooms available. After last year we couldn't tour very much because of COVID, so we do have some rooms available. We don't have any large rooms available, but we do have a few medium and 1 or 2 small rooms available. So I just wanted to let everybody know that when you pay a price at Hearthside, it's all encompassed in one price, and it's a very good price for what you get.
Well, I personally, I say this, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. You don't like to be nickeled and dimed to death. I just want to know, what's the bottom line?
What's the bottom line? I'll use that. I'll use that. Here's the bottom line. Well, that's what you get, and I'm very proud of the services that we offer, and we are seeing a lot more people that are interested in assisted living. People are getting back out. They're realizing that, hey, my mom or dad or grandmother or grandfather, they need those services. So we are offering limited tours, so you can tour, and you can also stop by and see us whenever you have an opportunity, or you can go to our website at Hearthside Senior Living, or Hearthside Living, I always say that, hearthsideliving.org. Last week there was a media report, and I know Donna gets this all the time, but the media just released some news that, assisted livings and nursing homes were just a free-for-all now. Yeah. People could just come in and do whatever they wanted to, but we still have to follow CDC guidelines, and we still have our own policies we have to follow. So we're taking every precaution, but we are open more than we've ever have been. We're allowing visitation in our living room area, so our residents can see their family members again. They can, on a nice day like today or this week, they can visit on the porches. So I'm just thrilled that things are opening up again. The spirits of these residents have just been lifted so high because they've been able to visit with their loved ones again. So I'm very excited about that. It's not a thing where you just pop in and just bring 20 people with you, but if you call ahead of time, we can schedule you, and you can spend 30, 45 minutes with your loved one.
Certainly better than it has been.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it's better for the residents.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. But at the same time, it was a little bit confusing, the announcement that came out, and it's not like it's just a free for all for everybody.
That's right. We still want to protect our older folks and make sure that it doesn't reoccur in our facilities. And if it does, we shut down for 2 weeks and do it all over again. Yeah. But hopefully. We've got our vaccines. Last week we got our second round, so about 95% of our residents have the vaccine, and about 90% of our staff have the vaccine. So I think that's a good percentage, and I think that's a good place to move forward.
And as far as your retirement community, I guess things are
yes, absolutely. There. We I have a couple, and they're listening right now. They email me every week asking me where they are on the waiting list. So I don't have any available right now, but we do have a nice little waiting list going. I've got a couple coming in next week to tour, and people just want to be on that list to be available to take a call from me.
But isn't that nice?
It is nice. It is nice.
That many people that want to come and be a part of it.
It is nice. It's because the houses are well built. It's because the layout is so great. It's because of the community that's safe and comfortable for that season of life. And I just couldn't be more proud of both communities, the assisted living and the independent living.
Well, let's remind everybody, if you need to contact Sean and you need to know more than you find on the website, 615-443-1994.
That's the best way to get me, or hearthsideliving.org, or, just pull up underneath the portico and I'll come out and see you.
You ready for a Hearthside?
You know what? Last week we talked about how tough it was for all assisted livings and nursing homes and healthcare workers during the snow, and Patty Watts and Teresa Botts heard us talking about it, and they came over and gave me a nice mug with my name on it, and wanted to encourage me. And I think they did it for about 10 other people too, so I wasn't the only one. But I really appreciate them doing that. They were listening, and they just wanted to give us a little encouragement, and they certainly did. And I appreciate Patty, and I appreciate Teresa, for all the good work. You know them, and
very
you know,
well.
you know them very well, and they're fantastic people, and they encouraged us along with other folks in the healthcare community. So I really appreciate it.
And your heartfelt hello is to them.
Patty and Teresa.
All right. Great. Sean,
Well,
thanks
Coleman,
for
have a
being-
great week.
See you next
Bye.
week. All right. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living. We are 21 before the hour. Dr. Donna Wright joins us now. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about this morning. I don't think you were here last time.
I was.
You were here last time.
Well, no.
No, Larry. came.
Larry felt, and then I was there before
Okay.
that.
But
yeah.
anyway, it's good to see you today. Thank you so much for being here. And
I had dental surgery that you wouldn't have. No, I believe he filled in with my mother-in-law, but he's always good to fill in for me.
that's what it was. I remember now. But you did have a meeting last night. We do have a lot to talk about, right?
Yes. We always have a lot to talk about. I mean, and we even go past time. So yes, we did several things last night that brought before the board, and one that first last week it was our first full-time return of all students K through 12, and you know there's always that little bit of apprehension because. Really all of our students had not been together. And when I'm talking about the breadth of K through 12 since last March. And not only was it a smooth transition as best could be expected, particularly with two of our schools where we're doing 2 grades of middle school, but I think the thing that touches me the most is the need for our students to interact with peers. And the parking lots at our high school, particularly when you could see whether they were getting off the bus with their mask on or getting out of their cars, greeting each other. Some of them had only seen like half the student body on their assigned day, and now everyone's there. And there was a need for that. And our students, our youngsters, have been so good following the protocols, making sure you have those masks on, getting their breathing breaks, the hand sanitizer, washing the hands. In fact, they don't need as many reminders sometimes as the adults do.
Really?
Yeah, so proud of the students, and I guess working to their very best ability to make sure that they can maintain whatever it takes so we can be in school every day. It was needed, but it was, to me, a joyous occasion. There's what I call good noise in a school. Mm-hmm. When you have that kind of chatter and everything, I mean, you just feel it. It's an energizer. And so, last week was that experience. It was a 4-day week. And then this week is also a 4-day week because on March the 5th, we're doing vaccinations for the large number of our staff. We have over 1,500. And this is, when I say staff, I'm talking about even the ancillary programs, everything from food services to maintenance to transportation, and then staff and administration. So first round's this Friday. Second dosage, March the 26th. So we're excited about that, and our teachers are too. It's like a weight taken off. So a lot of that was addressed last night. And then we went into executive session with our school board attorney, Mike Jennings, to discuss what we will be presenting this morning to the insurance company on the 2 schools, West Wilson Middle School and Stoner Creek.
Well, no doubt you're hoping to reach, I guess you'd call it a compromise here, a settlement, and get moving. That's the idea.
To get moving, yes, and I won't go into the details as far as what the board agreed with under Mr. Jennings' guidance, and he's done a lot of work on our behalf. But the thing is that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the tornado. And we have been delayed as far as getting to this point. And I don't say that disrespectfully in any way. It's just, that's part of the process. And I know that there's been a lot of anxiety, tension as far as, why aren't you doing something? Well, that's part of that delicate dance. Coleman, you know how it works, particularly when you've got projects, the magnitude of what we're dealing with. But Mr. Jennings is submitting what the board agreed to for him to present to the insurance company. And so we will wait and see what their response will be. And very hopeful. Yeah. Very hopeful.
Right.
Long time coming.
Well, once an agreement is done, I guess it'll be just almost immediately you're going to begin. And do you have is there a you have a pretty good idea of how long it's going to take? I think once you do get to start, don't you?
It's about 14 months for an elementary school, and that's been our experience today. And then about 22 months for a large middle school. Everything's weather dependent.
Yeah.
I still look back at Green Hill High School that we, from groundbreaking to putting students in the building, was right at 2 years, August of 2020. But when I look at how many days, it was over 100 rain days, weather-related days, that we probably would have completed sooner. But, it's Middle Tennessee. We don't know if it's going to be rain, snow, or, a monsoon coming in behind it. But that was absolutely amazing. But when I look at not only the work that was completed, the construction companies knew the urgency, and I believe we will see the same urgency once we have the wherewithal to move forward with these two projects, that we need to get our students back into buildings where we're not having to, I don't want to say compromise, but when you look at even the grade dynamics, it will be good to have middle school students in their building, and so the high school kids can go back to being high school students without having to share with the younger students.
All right, we've come to the time for us to take a break. Dr. Donna Wright is here, the Director of Schools for Wilson County, and we'll continue in a moment on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Well, it's starting to get a little bit heavy here at times 40 westbound coming past Fessler's. They did move a minor wreck to the side. Also, they were up there working a crash earlier on 65 southbound in Millersville. It's over to the side now, but traffic's so heavy coming down out of Robertson County this time of the morning on 65 southbound, making your way down past Goodlettsville. Traffic's on the increase, 65 through Brentwood and Franklin as well. Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies will be hosting Sleep of the Sharks coming up March 28th. All the details. Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
I'm Randy Salas, inviting you to listen to me and Jake Hood as we broadcast the 2021 Cumberland University baseball season. You won't want to miss any of the action in Coach Woody Hunt's final season at the helm of the Phoenix. All home games will be broadcast this year, weekday games on WCOR 1490 AM and weekend and night games on both WCOR and WANT FM 98.9. All games can be seen and heard on GoCumberlandAthletics.com at no charge, and you can also get your scheduling information there. Congratulations, Coach Woody Hunt, and go Phoenix.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our thanks to Dr. Donna Wright for taking time to be with us. I try to thank my guests from time to time, and you've been a regular, I guess, most of the time since you've been here, and always appreciate
7 years.
Oh, it doesn't seem like it's been that long.
No,
Honestly,
it's not. It's been 7 wonderful years.
Yeah. Okay. Did you talk about a new school director last night?
Well, we have a process, and it's sort of strange being on that other side, just sort of watching and going through and listening to the conversation among the board. And last night, out of 12 applicants, they narrowed it down to, the process was going to narrow down to 5, but the way it scored out among 7 board members, they ended up with 6 because there were 2 ties and 4 that had the same score, and then 2, which, it was one of those that you could recognize where they were landing because, and one of the board members made the comment, said, isn't it nice to know that we're in that close agreement?
Oh.
That was a good way of putting it, right, because of looking at resumes, looking through applicants, And, it's not the stage that they do as far as what I refer to as the due diligence. That will come in when now that they've identified their top 6. Then the process starts as far as not only the due diligence and looking at applicants, but the interview process. And they landed on the date of March the 25th. And, as far as the top 6, Dr. John Ash, who is right now in Rutherford County, Robert Sells, who's in Overton County, Dr. Amy White, who is right now with Southeastern Regional, which is the Educational Board, it's SREB, formerly in Metro Nashville, if I remember correctly. Jeff Luttrell and Travis Mayfield, who are 2 local internal candidates. And then Jerry Boyd, who was at one time the superintendent in Putnam County, later joined and is presently with the State Department of Education as an assistant commissioner. And he will be withdrawing his name because he was a finalist in Washington County and has accepted this director's job in Washington County, all within an hour of last night. So congratulations to him. He'll be leaving Middle Tennessee and going into Upper East Tennessee.
Now, if I'm hearing you right, you had 6, but now one of them is accepted. So now there's 5.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're down to the 5 right now, and so congratulations to Jerry Boyd. I know him well, fine gentleman, and happy for him.
Yeah.
But he's leaving Middle Tennessee.
So then the 25th will be interviews. Each person will have a certain length of time to be interviewed.
Yes.
Who does the interviewing?
It'll be the board.
7-member board.
7-member board, and that's what they were working through last night with the details. I told them, I said, you're going to have a long day doing it all day, but that's what they decided to do. And as far as every candidate will have the same question, so you have consistency as far as that, you don't have anything that you're going to toss in there. They're going to have access to the questions before they come into interview, which that's always a nice touch as far as, because it also gives the ability to do some research.
Yeah, and then even then you don't know what the other candidate is going to say. But you make up your own mind and you present your best case, and they do too.
Absolutely.
And then the board makes a decision.
And something that I like that the board decided to do last night as well, to allow 5 to 10 minutes for the candidate to ask the board questions.
Oh,
That's really a nice touch.
Because what are you expecting from me?
Yeah, or the thing just as far as wanting clarity on something that maybe they looked on our website, didn't understand, or whatever it might be. But I thought that was a nice touch. So there was a lot of time devoted last night to the going and finishing up this process after identifying, and something I noted last night to Coleman, there was a genuine camaraderie among the board last night. Somewhat, I guess, a relief, because this is a process that, and looking at it on the side of the board, you've got to get it right. You want to make sure that it's one that not only that you identify the right candidate, but one that's going to really, as far as first and foremost, be an advocate for Wilson County schools, Wilson County students, staff, and it was nice for me to sit back and just sort of watch this process unfold, and I was so proud of the board. And there's a little bit of sadness in it, because I see after 7 years that I've had the privilege of not only serving but working in this district, but so proud of the work that's been done. And so I'm excited to see this next person come in. And
well, what y'all got to do to make it easy for the next person, you got to get all past the COVID thing you've dealt with.
Oh, well.
I'm kidding.
That's almost part of our COVID culture anymore. I mean, things have changed so much as far as how we conduct business, and how we even think about how should we proceed. And COVID's right there, because as far as what are the protocols, what are the processes, how should we respond? So yes. And that I would think that would be one of those, I guess, wanting to see how this candidate, any of the candidates, would respond, because no one had a rule book for this year. There was no manual. There was no guidance. And when you look at any school district across the country, everyone was navigating in the dark. And, and people talk about so many mistakes made in education this year and the harm done. But you know what? When I think, and I can speak for Wilson County, I can't say enough for our teachers that literally had to come out of a comfort zone with a lot of apprehension, not knowing the magnitude of really, when you think back to last spring, the magnitude of COVID and what they have accomplished with our students. It's one of those things I've journaled along the way, just much of what I've observed and seen. And if people could just stand back and watch from whether it's a kindergarten teacher teaching the little ones, they're like kittens, on a Zoom classroom and instructing as far as, and in kindergarten, you're learning to read, to looking at high school teachers teaching a class on Tuesday and repeating that class again to another group of students on Wednesday and then starting back over again on Thursday with a hybrid. It's been masterful. And I would, to anyone, come and see it before you criticize.
Well, I'm not wanting to criticize at all. I think, and we probably all agree that that this is not the best atmosphere or accommodation for learning. But how much have we missed? I mean, the learning hasn't been there like it would have been. But what we missed, can we make it up? How deep in the hole?
Oh, and I didn't even take that as criticism. It was just my opportunity to talk about if people could watch the magic and the pixie dust that takes place in the classroom. One of the things, and I've talked about this, it's been several months ago, there's always the criticism about too much testing. Mm-hmm. And we get confused as far as what testing means. And so I reference it as soft assessments, as far as that when our students returned back, whether it was looking at initially as far as that remote learning, we were already doing soft assessments as far as that it's almost negligible that you even know that it's taking place, to see where our students are when they return to us. We did that. That was something last fall, and did pulse points along the way to see if there's a gap in skills, a loss in learning, or maybe that they've not even been introduced. And not only is it important with our youngest learners, but you see that along the way, particularly in mathematics, as far as skill loss. The thing that, as we were seeing, and you've heard so much news across the state and really across the country as far as the drop in reading, the drop in literacy. Yeah. Well, we were encouraging from last spring, if we can't do anything else, read. Read for enjoyment. Reading is a skill that you have to practice. You just do, even as adults. And Jennifer Cawthorn, Dr. Cawthorn, is our assessment guru, and she's been watching it from the very beginning. And even when we look at that skills, loss of skills and the gaps there, being able to get that information to teachers as far as, okay, this individual student, here's your diagnostic. There's a gap here. Going back and not moving everyone forward until you address those gaps. We've not seen the dramatic loss that's being presented across the state. But again, that goes back to our teachers having good diagnostic information. That's the value of assessments. And then looking at where we see, particularly with mathematics. Last spring, school ended for us on March the 3rd.
Yeah.
And when you look at high school mathematics and what could be lost with really 9.5 weeks of school remaining, how do we recover that without having to go back and repeat the courses? Again, our teachers, you might have progressed on into Algebra 2. What is the thing that we need to go back and look at? You have to look at, as far as the components of Algebra 2, go back and reassess, reteach, catch them up. And that was the thing that we also impressed upon our teachers. Take a good look at your students before you introduce any new learning. Give them the confidence that they haven't lost anything. Go back and sort of rebuild that foundation, and also spend some time listening. Our kids have been through a lot, and I'll have to say that there was a little bit of anxiety as far as we have no time to waste, but our teachers did exactly that. They spent time with our students at the very beginning, August 17th, and to give assurances. This is going to be a different year, but it's going to be a good year, and it's been amazing. Amazing.
So it's worked.
It's worked.
All right. We got a minute and a half, believe it or not. So again, the meeting with the insurance company that's coming up here, that's a very important thing. When is that?
As far as the meeting with the insurance company, they are being presented the position from Wilson County Schools this morning.
This morning, all right.
And so we'll wait for their response.
Right. And then the 25th is when the interview goes for five candidates for director of schools to take your place.
To take my place.
We've got a minute. Well, what else would you like to say this morning before we let you leave?
Well, next week, as far as, let me see, March the 8th through, I guess it's the 15th, spring break. I know there's been criticism as far as, my gosh, you've just been out for a week for snow and you're taking off for spring break. Well, that's the calendar. It's part of the stability. That was something that was already in place. And we want to get back into that rhythm. But there's almost 10 weeks left when we come back from spring break. We finish strong. Take advantage of every single day and really wrap this year up as far as one of experience, one of perseverance and tenacity. And I feel good about where our schools are. Do we have some issues? Absolutely. But that's what we do in education.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us. We enjoyed it, and see you next month.
Thank you.
Dr. Donna Wright and Director of Schools for Wilson County. That is it for a Tuesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.